I wish I've learned about emotion when I was growing up. I think it would have supported me in so many ways. When I was growing up, I had this whole idea that some emotions are acceptable and some are not. And because some are more comfortable, some are not so comfortable. For example, growing up, I somehow has this idea anger is not acceptable. Just because of the environment I grew up with, I felt that, I was afraid of anger. And therefore, anger is not something that's good, and decided that I will never show my anger emotion. Many of us may also have the idea that some emotions are more acceptable and some are not, and especially depending how we grew up, right? And the environment that we grew up. In the last video, I talked about, we have this belief system, boys don't cry, for example. So if you come to believe that and grow up thinking that if, boys or men, if they cry, it's a weakness, then what's going to happen is, typically you will never show your sadness, right, as men. Women, maybe, especially girls growing up, we are told you're too emotional, you're too sensitive, when we cry. And therefore, we might hide our emotion because we don't want to come across that way. So there were no healthy ways to express how we feel. Until I started doing personal development work, I came to realize what really emotion is and how important it is for us to actually feel our emotion. Emotion is energy in motion. That's it. It's just energy in motion. It just wants to move, right? So if you look at children at the playground, when they're playing, you see all kinds of emotion. Children will be happy, one moment they might be crying, the next moment they might be frustrated, and then the next moment they're happy again. But children takes it so easily, they allow your emotions to flow, right? Of course, over time, because of the way we grew up, how we perceive emotion, or maybe our experience of it, we felt a bit overwhelmed when we were younger, and we thought we are not able to be with the emotion, that we decided to either suppress, numb, or actually deny our emotion. And the thing is, what I've discovered too, when we do that, it actually has an impact on our health and on our mental well-being. The more we suppress our emotion, the more it will impact our physical well-being and also our action. How many of you have seen how people, where their emotion takes over and they go into reaction, and sometimes they regret after that? So for myself, I have suppressed anger for a long time growing up because I thought that is not an acceptable emotion. What will happen is I will suppress, and then there will be one moment that I would just explode. And when I explode, this is where I sometimes hurt people around me. I've also come to know people in my life where instead of suppressing, they numbed their emotions. So when emotions are coming out, they will figure out ways to numb it. Most often very unhealthy ways, like drinking, smoking, so that they don't have to feel their emotion. However, like I said in the beginning, it will have an impact on our physical well-being and also on our entire well-being. Recently, what I've discovered too, people are bypassing their emotion. It's very interesting. They bypass by being very positive. So, oh no, I can't look at negative stuff. Oh, I can't feel those emotions. They're low vibration. They're not okay. Emotions are emotion. Yes, vibrationally are different, yet because we're a human being, it's important for us to allow the emotions to flow through instead of bypassing. When we bypass, we are really suppressing. So our emotion is actually our GPS system, our inner guidance system. And each emotion serves a purpose. For example, when we feel anger, actually it's just telling us maybe there's a perceived risk or threat. And that's why there's the emotion there, right? When we feel love, we know that this is a safe space. When we feel guilt, it's an emotion to tell you that you might have acted out that has possibly impacted someone in a not such a nice way, that you want to look at it and correct that behavior. So each emotion actually serves a purpose. So when instead of looking at emotion as a good, bad, right, wrong, when we befriend our emotion, there's a lot we can learn about ourselves. So nowadays, I allow my emotions to move through me. I no longer suppress or numb them. In the past, I do that. And what I've come to realize, the more I allow it to move through whenever I'm feeling it in healthy ways, I move my emotions through in healthy ways, I actually feel the release, and and then when I allow myself to feel and move the emotion, I feel more ease after that, and actually more joy and comfort after that. So by moving my emotion in healthy ways, I do not overreact anymore. My emotion don't overtake me anymore, which cause behavior that I might regret in the future. So whenever you're feeling emotions, instead of judging your emotion or being afraid of your emotion, allow yourself to feel it in healthy ways. So for example, if let's say anger, to allow yourself to feel anger in a healthy way, one way you could do is allow yourself to take a pillow and hit another pillow in a room, right? So you're healthily moving the energy of anger through and out of your body, so that you're not suppressing it or numbing it in your body. So that's an idea. So think about ways you can move whatever emotion that you're feeling in healthy ways. So I've also heard this very often from my participants in my program. They're afraid that the emotion will be too overwhelming, that they cannot handle. My experience has been that actually the more you allow yourself to move it through, it gets less overwhelming over time. And again, if you're starting this work, I would strongly encourage you to have someone around you. Someone who can support you, be there with you, to guide you as well when you want to move your emotion through. So a quick note for parents, because I'm a parent myself, and like I said in the beginning of this video, I wished I've learned all this when I was growing up. I think my childhood and my teenager would have been much easier. So, and a words of encouragement for parents, right? Whenever your children are feeling something, I know that it might be uncomfortable for you, they might be feeling sadness or anger. I would encourage you to actually allow them and support them to move those emotions in healthy ways. Be with them during those times and just acknowledge their feelings. Allow them to express themselves and to know that you're there to hold them while they're experiencing their emotion. It's really important. I wish I've learned that when I was growing up. And parents, when your children are feeling the emotion, for example, and you feel triggered, this is an opportunity for you to look at what emotions you've suppressed yourself. So if you're feeling anger, when your children are feeling anger, this is an opportunity for you to actually look at what kind of emotion you've been suppressing. And perhaps there's also a belief tied to it. So remember, emotion is energy in motion. Allow yourself to feel your emotion in healthy ways. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.